Okay, I'm recording the session now. Ready? Okay, my dear angels. So today we're going to finish the week number 3. It's going to be the class 3.2. Well, of course, it's the second class of the week number 3. It's the last class, right, of this week. So we're going to be working today, my dear, in like a continuation, like a second part of the first class, right? So in that case, the idea is that we can complement the ideas that we did yesterday. And actually, it's related also to the previous class, to the class of the last week, which is being, it has been talking about connecting ideas, no? So we have been talking about connecting ideas with WH. Last class, we talked about connecting ideas with time adverbs, with replacements of if, like only if, even if, other connectors, more directed to the influence of the ideas, right? And today we're going to see other different kinds of organizations, not so much like connectors, but other ways in which I can put ideas together, maybe reorganizing the sentence, right? I'm going to start the class with a couple of questions here. Yeah, I would like you to answer according to your personal information, right? Could you please read the first question, honey?
What do you do normally eat at night?
What do you normally eat at night? Exactly. So, Andre, what do you normally eat at night?
Mm, normally, normally I eat at night. Um, how do you say arepa?
Arepa. Arepa is the same because
Arepa.
it's exactly it's the typical name, so it doesn't have translation.
With cheese.
Mhm,
Uh, um, maybe with juice.
mhm, mhm.
Eh,
Okay.
ya
Anything
solo
else?
eso.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, very good. So that's what you normally eat at night, no? In my case, for example, for me, it is normal, well, because I said normally, no? So it is normal to eat the same things that I eat at lunch. For example, if at lunch I ate beans with rice and chicken, at night I also eat the same. It is normal to do that because in my house with my mother, we used to do that. So now that I live alone, I continue to do the same. For me, it is normal to eat the same things that at lunch. Is it normal for you to eat the same things at lunch and dinner?
Yes, teacher. I like to eat very light because usually I go to sleep early.
At 9, no? At 9 or 10 p.m., you are already sleeping, right? Mhm.
Yes, teacher.
Good. In, I mean, different from that, unlike you, eating something light at night is not common for me because, as I told you yesterday, at night is my more active process or my more active period. So eating something light at night is not common for me. For me, it is normal to eat the same things that I eat at lunch. Ready? Maybe a little bit smaller, but the same products. No, for example, if in the lunch I eat bandeja paisa, at night mini bandeja paisa. If in the lunch I eat rice and chicken, and the dinner also rice and chicken. I eat the same things, right? Bueno, number 2, my dear. Read the second question, please.
How do you normally call your bestie? Bestie es como best
Best
friend.
friend. Yeah.
Mm. Bueno, normally I don't call my bestie.
No, but
Normally
not
I
call by phone number, but call
okay.
the like ¿cómo le dices? ¿Cómo lo llamas, right? O
Ah,
cómo la llamas, right?
mm, mm, no. Eh, I don't I don't have a mm, how do you say sobrenombre?
A nickname. Nickname.
Mm,
You don't have a nickname
I
for the
don't
person.
no. I don't have a nickname for her.
Okay, okay. What is her name?
Eh, Roxana.
Okay, maybe do you call her like Roxy, Rox, or something? Or completely
Rose,
all Rocks?
Rose.
Okay, very good, excellent. So you normally call your best friend Rose, right? Well, in my case, I am more like a typical guy, so I normally call my best friend Parce, Parcero, sometimes depending on the mood, no? In the school, of course, I call my best friend, I don't know, viejo, no sé, parce, what other, like mi perro, something like that, no? It's my best friend. So in the school, it was not different. Now, I think that the most common one is parce. That's it, no? So, okay,
In
very,
Medellin is common parce and marica.
and marica.
Marica.
It's normal that, right? So exactly, very good. And for the Colombians, it's normal to call marica to a person that we like. In other countries, it's not that common, no? It's like an insult, but for us, it's common. Muy bien, my dear Andre. Andre, could you please read the question number 3?
Eh, when do you normally check your social media?
Mhm, mhm.
Mm, Normally, I check my social media once a day
At night, in the morning, after lunch, before going to
at night.
sleep, at
At
night.
night.
Mhm. After, before the class, maybe, for example, after you arrive from work, before the
Yes,
class.
when I arrive to my house,
Mhm. When I arrive home, when I say arrive home, it's, it's llegar a casa, arrive
arrive home.
home. Mhm. Okay, very good. Excellent. That's it. Good. My case, I would say that I normally check my social media probably twice a day. Once in the morning, like after the breakfast, probably. And the other one at night when I arrive to my house. Yeah, basically that's it. Uh, on the rest of the day, I'm working, so I don't check my social media. So it is not normal for me to check a lot of times my cell phone equally as you. Yeah, for us, it's not normal to check a lot of times the cell phone. No, like checking the cell phone once a day is enough. No, you know what I mean of enough?
Suficiente.
Sufficient. So checking the cell phone once a day, it's enough. Very good. Ready? Question number 4, my dear. Question number 4.
Eh, do you normally pay attention to your cell phone when speaking with someone? Eh, no. Eh, when I speaking with someone, mm, personality, I like look at the eyes of the other person.
Very good. So when I am speaking with someone else, personally, muy bien, personally, I like to look to the eyes of the other person to make eye contact. What that's called make eye contact, which is looking the other person to the eyes, no? Making eye contact. Okay, very good. Same as me. Probably I don't make as much eye contact depending the person, but I like to listen careful to the other person. I never use my cell phone when I am speaking with others. For me, checking your cell phone when you are speaking with others is disrespectful. It's a little bit, no, it's a little bit, no, it's a lot disrespectful, right?
Yes, I
Hmm.
agree.
Yeah, totally agree. And the last one, my dear Andre, number 5.
How often do you eat changua?
Do you know what is changua, right?
Yes.
How often do you eat it?
My mother make changua more or less eh, age mm, mm, 2 months, more or
Okay,
less.
okay, each 2 months. Okay. I really thought that the paisas didn't like changua. I was sure that the paisas didn't like
N-
changua.
no, but my mother is from Santander.
Ah, okay, no, that's why. Santander and Boyacá, they love changua, no? So Santander, Boyacá, and Cundinamarca, they love crazy soups.
Yes.
Okay, very good. But do you like it?
Yes, yes.
It's good, no? Okay, very good. But for me, eating changua, or for me, eating changua is more normal than for you. We eat changua here in this house probably every 2 weeks, more or less. Usually on Sundays. No, usually when we don't have anything to cook on Sundays, we prepare like a changua and great. That's it. Well, maybe for you it's not that normal, but it's like an special event for your mother, no? So for your mother, it's more normal than for you, right? Bueno, my dear. So in this case, what we're doing is talking a little bit about our customs, like eat, what is customary to eat at night, what is customary to call my best friend, what is custom or when is customary to check my social media, is it customary to use my cell phone or not? Is it customary to eat changua? Yeah. So what is the meaning of something which is customary? What do you think that it's the meaning of custom?
Costumbre.
Yes, like acostumbrado. Ready?
Okay.
Yes, similar to normal, no? So it's going to be a synonym of normal when I say customary. Custom, of course, it's gonna be costumbre, custom, ready? But customary, it means like acostumbrado, like something which is normal or which is typical, ready? In this case, we're going to talk about different actions, no? For example, eat at night, for example, call my best friend, for example, check my social media, for example, use my cell phone when I'm talking to other persons, for example, eat changua. And what I'm doing here is describing more or less my opinion about that, action, right? Or like, for example, how often we do it, or like just saying like a description of that action. Ready? As you can see here in the two different examples, it's possible to organize almost every idea. It's possible to organize it in two different ways. How do you want to organize it? How do you have to organize it? As you want, as you prefer, as you feel more normal, that you or as you feel more comfortable with, right? For example, my dear Adri, could you please read the blue example?
For me, it is normal to eat the same things that I eat at lunch.
Mhm. So in this case, I introduced that for me, it is normal, one action, to eat the same things that I eat at lunch. Okay, now let's go to the red example.
Eating something light at night is not common for me.
Exactly. So in that case, what I'm doing is introducing the idea, same verb, no, eat and eat, but here I am using the gerund. I'm saying that eating something light, that is the action at night, is not common for me. Here I'm saying that it is common. The action is, or it is normal, but to eat the same things that I eat at lunch. But I organize the idea different, right? In this case, I'm using the gerund. In this case, I'm using the infinitive, right? Almost every idea have more than one way to be expressed. Yes, for example, if I want to say that I love, I don't know, so for example, I love my personal space. No sé, I love my personal space, right? Something which is true. I love my personal space with the normal simple present. That's it. I can find another different ways to express that. For example, saying that having my personal space is having my personal space. It's very important for me, right? So always I'm going to find a way to paraphrase. Paraphrase, it's paraphrase. It means saying the same things or telling the same information without using the same words, but using different words, but expressing the same idea. Ready? In this case, this is more or less what we are doing here. We're going to have the possibility to introduce the same idea in two different ways. Always we have the difference between gerunds and infinitives, no? Here, we're going to find how is that difference in terms of organization. How can we differentiate using gerunds or infinitives, but in terms of organization, right? So if I want to use the gerund, I am going to start directly with the action. The action is going to be the subject, right? Saying, for example, that eating at night eating at night. Or for example, calling marica to my best friend. Or for example, eating changua. Or for example, using my cell phone when I am speaking with others. Or for example, the action that I am asking. For example, checking my social media, right? So in that case, that action can be the beginning of the sentence. Ready? When I say, bueno, what do you normally eat at night? Of course, I can have the normal sentence, which is I normally eat arepa and juice. Arepa with cheese and juice. That's the normal one, and it's correct. It's good. But we can have other different ways to do it. Ready? It is not always necessary to answer specifically with the same words. I can change the words as far as I maintain the same idea, right? As I am saying, I am paraphrasing, right? So in that case, I'm going to have the first part, which is the gerund. The gerund is going to be a verb in ing plus a complement, eating at night. Then we're going to have the verb. Usually here the verb is verb to be because we are giving our opinion about it. So we're thinking like, how is that action? For example, eating at night is not common for me. Then we have after the verb, we are going to find the opinion, which is the complement here. Usually we're going to use an adjective. For example, common, for example, typical, for example, customary, for example, strange. Eating at night is not common for me. Common for me, right? And the idea is complete. I have the subject, the verb, and the complement, yes. Just that in that case, the sentence starts with a subject, and the subject is an action, which is why we use a verb, right? The same idea can be expressed if I want to do it starting just with it. This it is exactly making reference to the action. So that's why we said it, a verb, probably is the same verb, yes. It is not common, same opinion, same adjective, no, it is not common. But here, the verb, which I used to express before in the other sentence here, it's going to be at the end. It is not common to eat at night. Ready? So that action, that way or that structure is going to allow me to paraphrase the ideas, giving the same idea using different words, right? Why? Because it's good to variate my dialogue, my speech is good. And also because it's going to give me different options, no? Sometimes I prefer to use ing, sometimes I prefer to use the two. Yeah, it's not a problem, right? So always, no, not always, but 99% of the times, 95% of the times, we're going to find a way to use or to paraphrase one sentence that we have, right? These sentences are kind of complementary. They have the possibility to be complemented. For example, in this case, I'm saying that eating at night is not common for me. Yes, I introduce, for example, that for me at night. Here, that for me can be translated, for example, and say here. For me, comma, it is, yes, it is not common to eat at night. Yes, or it is not common to eat at night for me. It's also possible, ready? So this expression for, or this preposition for, it's going to tell me if that action, I mean, if that opinion is specific for one person or in general, no? For example, calling marica to a person is insultive. Not for the Colombians, no, but in general. But if I say for Colombians, calling marica to a person, it's a sign of love of and friendship, no? But for Colombians, specifically for us, right? Or for example, for me, it's not enough to eat something light at night. For me, it's not enough. For you, it is enough to eat something light at night. Ready? For example, in that case, I said, for me, eating something at night, using the gerund at the beginning, is not enough. Good. For you, it is enough to eat something light at night. No, so it's the same idea, just that organized into different ways, but it's exactly the same idea. How do you feel, Andre? How do you feel in this case?
Good teacher.
Easy, right? Not a difficult
Yes.
situation. Muy bien, muy bien. So once again, for example, if I ask you like, okay, Andre, do you use your cell phone? Your cell phone while talking to others? Do you use your cell phone while talking to others?
Teacher, using my cell phone is not common for me. Why I take to other person?
Exactly.
I
So
take him.
using my cell phone is not common for me while I'm talking to others, right? So question again, or follow-up question. When is it normal or is it typical for you to use your cell phone? When is it typical for you to use your cell phone?
It's typical for me uh, to use my cell phone at night when I arrive home.
Exactly. So you said it's, which is of course the contraction of it is, right? Perfect. It's common for me or it's typical for me to use my cell phone at night when I arrive from home, right? So this idea, but this what you're doing here, it's kind of expressing your opinion most of the times, right? But with that opinion, I can give to understand other things, no? Like for example, routine. It is typical for me to do this at night. It is typical for me, or it is, I can say, for example, it is not strange. It is not strange for me. Bueno, más bien for you. For me, it is strange, but for you, it is not strange to read before bed. No, for me, depending. Nah, but it's strange. I usually just watch the news, midnight news, and I fall asleep. But for you, it is not strange to read before bed. Hmm? Right? So I'm not talking about so much about an opinion, but I'm talking about more as a routine. Yeah, it can be can be an expression of opinion, but it's more dedicated or more focused into describing what is strange or what is common for you inside your routine. So it's more dedicated to other things, not so much to describe your opinion, right? So it's possible to describe your opinion, yeah, most of the times, but also with these expressions, I can do other different stuff. Okay. Questions, Andre, so far?
No, teacher. I can say, for example, uh, I customary eating a lot in the morning
Yeah, but almost. When I
or the
say eating a lot, espera, es que estoy acá confundiendo las estructuras estas arriba, sorry. Eating, eating a lot in the morning. Todo eso, todo ese larguero is the subject. Todo ese larguero es el gerundio, all of that. Entonces, eating a lot in the morning, it's the subject.
it's something
Is something customary. ¿Para quién?
for me.
Exacto. Entonces, en este caso no se necesita el I al principio, porque
Hmm.
digamos que no eres tú la que hace la acción, sino que la acción es eating a lot in the morning. Tú eres el objeto que está al final. Te voy a decir para mí, right? So, eating a lot in the morning is something customary for me. Perfecto, that's it. Hmm? Right? Bueno, my dear.
Okay,
So,
teacher.
over here, of course, we can use these kind of structures in order to describe all different kinds of aspects, right? For example, I'm going to have some sentences here. I would like you to complement them with your opinion, with your own personal opinion, okay? Some of them are going to be with ing, some of them are going to be with infinitives. Ready? So please try to complete them. Try to tell me your opinion about those situations that I mentioned there. So, In this order could be, doesn't have to be in order. You can use any order that you prefer.
Teacher, for example, it is normal. It's not normal for me chatting during dinner.
Because remember that here, if I use ing,
Okay.
it's going to be at the beginning.
Okay.
So chatting
Like
during dinner,
chatting during dinner is not normal for me.
exactly, is not, the adjective can be any kind of adjective that you have. Normal, of course, it's a possibility, but we can have many others, no? For example, acceptable, acceptable. Respectful is not respectful, right? It's respectful.
What is
Eh,
respectful?
sorry, my dear, once again.
What is respectful?
Respectfully means respetuoso, right?
Okay.
So you could say chatting during dinner is not da 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 for me. For me, for example, it's not necessary because everything that you can use in that moment, you can do it later. So for me, it is not necessary to chat during dinner, or chatting during dinner is not necessary for me. Also, I would say, for example, well, acceptable is one idea, or accepted, it's the same, ready? Or, for example, common, that we saw it, common, customary, yeah, typical is another idea. O if I want to say no es extraño, no es nada loco, right? So it's not strange, or maybe it is strange, no? So chatting during dinner for me is strange. It's kind of unnecessary. Yes, it's kind of illogical, right? So you can use many different kinds of adjectives, not only normal and typical and accepted, but we have many different kinds of adjectives over here. Ready? So chatting during dinner for you is not normal. For me, it's not necessary. I think that it's unnecessary to chat during dinner. Ready? Bueno, what about the others?
Mm. To answer fast text messages in my work is typical for me.
Good. But this one has infinitive, so at the end. So it's typical. It's typical in my work. Yeah, not in all works, but in your work, especially for you. Yes, so it's typically in my work for me to answer fast text messages because it has the infinitive, it usually goes at the end. It has the ing, it usually goes at the beginning, right? Hmm?
Okay, okay. Ya
No?
entendí.
Excellent, don't
Esa era
worry,
la
no
parte que me
problem.
faltaba por entender.
Yes, no
Okay,
problem.
teacher.
So, find another.
Um, is logical for me, logical for me to debate respectful,
Very good. Respectfully. Well,
respectful,
respectful, hasta respectful con L es respetuoso. Respectfully, what would be?
respetuosamente.
Very good. So you said it is logical for me to debate respectfully, right? So, okay, very good. It is logical for you. For me, I think that that one is necessary. It's necessary to debate respectfully, because if not, it becomes a discussion, no? So that's not necessary. Muy bien, very good, excellent, Andre. One more.
Mm, calling names to your friends is acceptable
Yeah,
for
exactly.
me.
Yeah, exactly. So calling names to your friends, que parce, que gordito, que bebé, que blah, bueno, say different names is acceptable for you. Maybe not those, but maybe others, no? So
Or or can be acceptable for you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So not always has to be for me. And actually, it is not necessary to include the for. The for plus the person is optional. Ready? If you want to
Okay.
be very specific, but if not, it's acceptable. I think that everybody accepts that you can call names to your friends. No, so I think that it's not necessary, but in general, it is acceptable to call names to your friends, right? Mhm.
Okay, teacher.
Listo.
Um,
Perfect, perfect. Ajá.
listening careful, ¿cuál es la pronunciación?
Carefully, carefully.
carefully. Listening carefully to the others is necessary. It's
Maybe.
necessary.
Exactly like that. Excellent, excellent. So it's necessary. Yes. So listening carefully to the others is necessary. Or it is necessary to listen carefully to the others, right? Perfect. That's it. And the last one,
Okay.
today, two people at the same time. What do you think?
Teacher, I don't understand
Ah,
the meaning.
date, it means having a romantic relationship with somebody. Ready?
Ah,
Like,
okay.
so when I say today, two people at the same time.
Um, today two people at the same. Ah, no, me estoy equivocando. eh, I think that it's mm, eh, disrespectful today two people at the same time.
Exactly. It is disrespectful, very good, to date two people at the same time. Or dating two people at the same time is disrespectful. Exactly like that. Ready? Muy bien, Andres. So in that case, what we're doing here is simply just giving a different organization to one sentence, paraphrasing ideas, but they can be paraphrased in any different ways, and giving my opinion about an action. It can be done in one way or in the other. Ready? As we have been doing here, we are talking a little bit about communication, but for example, it can be applied to the topic of the sleeping, right? For example, I don't know. What do you think about wearing a like thick thick it means like gruesas, so wearing thick pajamas. What do you think about that? It's common, it's not common, it's necessary, it's comfortable, it's uncomfortable.
I like it, but for these times, it's not necessary
It's
because
not.
the days are very hot.
Exactly. So these days, wearing thick pajamas is not necessary because the days are very hot. Or it is not necessary to wear thick pajamas these days because ta 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 ta. Both ideas perfect, right? Okay, I want to continue talking about sleep. Perfect, I can do it. So, for example,
Teacher, I have a doubt.
yes, yeah, of course.
Why today two people and not today with two people?
Okay. In that case, the verb date it doesn't require the preposition with. It requires the
Ah,
preposition with when I say go out with. you know, Salir, ahí sí it's necessary the preposition with. But date doesn't require the preposition with. It's just date a person. I don't say I am dating a beautiful woman. No, I am dating with, no, I am dating a beautiful woman. Oh, I am going out with a beautiful woman. That's it. That one requires the preposition with, but date doesn't require that preposition, right?
okay, teacher.
Mhm. Really?
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, fine. What about if I say, for example, sleeping less than 8 hours? Sleeping less than 8 hours.
Mm, sleeping less than 8 hours. It's not common for me.
Mhm. So, do you usually sleep the 8 hours?
Yes.
Good, very good. From 9 to 6, yes? From 9 to 6.
Uh, 9:30. From 9:30 to 5:30.
And there are 8 hours? Exactly eight?
I don't know.
More or less.
More or
Yeah,
less.
yeah, yeah, of course. Ah, yes, of course. 4 from 9:30 to 12. It's three and a half. And no, yes, two and a half.
Yes,
Two,
teacher,
two
eight
and a half.
hours.
8 hours, yes, exactly like that. Bueno, muy bien, André, excellent. So, and for example, to wake up early. For me, for example, it is very difficult to wake up early. I think that for you it is not.
Yes.
So you say, no, para mí es
Eh,
fácil.
for me, it's very easy to wake up early.
Exactly. For me, it's very easy to wake up early. Or waking up early is very easy for me. Both ideas, both structures can work perfect. Ready?
Okay.
How do you feel, my dear? All good? All fine?
More or less. Soy buena parafraseando en español. Vamos a ver cómo va con el
Ah, of
inglés.
course, that's good. You know, if you are good in Spanish, in English is even easier. So no worries. Yes. Bueno, Andre, the other thing that we have here in this unit, well, this is basically like the most important topic of the second class. As you can see, it's not so much as connecting ideas with connectors, but it's connecting ideas with different organizations, no? So in order to avoid repetition, as I told you yesterday, to avoid repetition, the idea is that we can vary from gerund to infinitive from sentence to sentence. Sometimes I use infinitives, sometimes I use gerunds, I start changing. It's a good idea, right? So, my dear Andre, the other thing, a part of this, the topic of connecting ideas, it's a little review of the report speech, right? For example, talking, what's your opinion about this part? Talking about others. I know the answer, but I just want you to tell me. Talking bad about others or talking about behind others' back. What is your opinion about that?
Mm, talking talking bad about others is not acceptable for me.
Wonderful, very good. So it's not acceptable for you. You are a very integral woman, right? So acceptable, yes, acceptable for me. So you are a person who doesn't like gossiping, or maybe not so much, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Question. Have you ever listened and oh my God, interesting, no, impressing, sorry, impressing gossip? Have you ever listened an impressive gossip?
Teacher, what is the meaning of gossip?
Gossip, sorry, is with not with N, it's only with a P. Gossip, it means when the person says something about others, no? When they say, for example, in the office, ay, sí supo, imagine que ta 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 ta, ta, imagínese que la jefe, no sé qué, bla bla bla. That's gossip.
Chismoso.
Exactly. Gossip is chisme. Gossipy
Chisme.
es chismoso, right? Pero gossip solito es chisme, right?
Impressing gossip viene a ser como un chisme
Impressive.
o como un chisme impresionante.
Exactly. Have you ever listened an
Yes,
impressive gossip? What did you listen? What was the
yesterday.
information? Yesterday. Who told you the gossip? Who told you the gossip?
Yesterday, um, listened that in other other place of work,
Mhm.
uh, two people uh, were fight were
Fighting
fight
like physically
fighting.
fighting?
Yes, yes.
Oh my
And
God.
one person uh, broke the how do you say mandíbula?
De ya, bueno, you have chin. Chin es como el mentón. Y we have jaws, que son como la quijada, pues.
Yes.
Ay,
Broke jaws of the other person.
no way. It was like a very, very serious fight. Oh
Yes,
my
yes.
God. It was two men or two women?
Two men.
Oh my God. Andre, who told you the gossip? Who was talking or who was telling the gossip? Who was the person who told you the gossip?
Uh, mm, mm, teacher, work, ¿cómo se dice? Compañero de trabajo, ¿cómo es que se dice?
Coworker. Coworker.
Coworker.
Say,
Eh,
coworker.
a coworker of security and healthy.
Ay, my God. Okay, so in that case, we have two different words, coworker and colleague. Pero
Colleague.
colleague, it
Colleague.
means es colega, o sea, no es colega tuyo, es solo un compañero de trabajo.
Sí.
Colleagues would be the other environmental engineers, no? So that's different. Muy bien, entonces in that case, we're going to talk about that gossip using the report speech. That is the other topic here. Remember that when we talk about report speech, what we do is saying like, he told me, or she told me, or somebody else told me, or told another person. In that case, for example, you could say that a coworker told me,
Told me.
mhm, and then the information that in another place of work, two people were fighting, ta 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 ta. ¿Listo? But, my dear Andrew, remember that the sentence here, the reported sentence, has to change. Ready? Depending. We can report different kinds of ideas. Usually when we report a request or an order, it's not changed. For example, if a colleague tells you an information that it's like, send the report. Yeah, he asks you that favor. Send the report. That doesn't have to change because the verb it's in infinitive. Doesn't change, no? But if the verb has a tense, for example, in this case, the security man told you, imagínese that yesterday they were fighting in another place, and imagínese que Carlos broke Alberto's jaws and he went to the hospital, no sé qué. All the story of the coworker is in simple past because he's telling like, no, pasó esto y pasó lo otro. He's telling a story in simple past. The report sentence, which has a tense, simple past, is going to go back into the time and use a previous time. So when we have, for example, simple past, we report it in past perfect. For example, you said like, a coworker told me that no sé quién and no sé quién had fought. ¿Cuándo se pelearon entre? Antier, el lunes, bueno,
In the last Saturday.
last Saturday, exactly. So in that case, the story is going to change a little bit because it has to change from the original one. Remember, if the original one it's about, espera un segundo, wait a second. If the original one is about simple present, the reported one is in simple past. If the original one, here, if the original one is in simple present, the report in simple past. Present continuous, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect. Will, the reported one is with would. Can, the reported one is with could. May, might, must, had to, and have to, of course, the same, had to. And simple past, past perfect. Past perfect is going to be reported of both present perfect and simple past. Ready? Lo que hago aquí es devolverme un tiempo en la oración. Entonces, si está en presente simple, me devuelvo a pasado simple. Presente continuo, pasado continuo. It's very easy because usually what I have to change is only the auxiliary. Yes, no more. For example, I am looking. She was looking. She has written. She had written. Ready? Usually what I have to do is to rechange no more just the auxiliary or the verb. She always wears a coat. She always wore a coat. I am sick. He was sick. No, so it's changing that. And when we have simple past, this is the most difficult one probably, it's going to pass to past perfect. Porque antes del simple past, lo único que hay más, o sea, el único tiempo que hay antes del simple past es past perfect. Por eso también me devuelvo a past perfect, que es had, had plus the verb in past participle. Ese es el past perfect, es el reporte de simple past también. Y con los modales, pues simplemente el pasado. Will, would, can, could, may, might, must, want, ta, ta, ta. If the report is with should, doesn't change. It's going to be with should. If the report is with any of these verbs, con cualquiera de esos que termina en would, could o should, no cambia, lo dejo igual. For example, yes, no, yesterday, no. Let's talk about an older topic, an older gossip. Last month, my mom told me that I should, I don't know, that I should clean the floor better. Yeah. So in that case, it was last month, but should is not going to change. It's going to be the same. Yes. My mother told me that I should clean the floor better. The same with could and the same with would. If I make an original sentence with would and could, they don't change. But if I make it with will or can or may, they are going to change to the past of them. Ready? Estos modales, digamos que sí tienen pasado, que es el que está al frente. Estos modales, que también se usan en presente, pues ya no tienen más verbos en pasado, entonces no van a cambiar en caso que los haga, ¿ready? Que los use para el reporte. ¿Mm? More or less?
Yes, teacher. That
Excellent.
topic is the basic 2.
Yeah, exactly. The topic is from basic 2. It's like a review. It's simplemente un review. And something that we have to include here is that something that we didn't see in the basic 2 is the change of the adverbs, right? When I change the structure, of course, for example, if I say in the moment of the original sentence, now I am very tired. That now cannot be reported because now it was in that moment. Now, in this moment, when I repeat it, the moment is different, right? Now, sorry, is going to change to then. So I said, for example, es que Leo told me that then, or that he was very tired then. Then, in this case, is going to mean in that moment. Ready? Which is similar. In that case, I could say now or then or in that moment, no? So specifically in, dime.
Teacher, report speech siempre es cuando alguien me dijo o se usan otra cosa.
Digamos cuando lo escuché, cuando lo leí, cuando la gente dijo antes y lo quiero repetir. No necesariamente tuvo que haberme dicho a mí, puedo haber dicho a cualquier persona.
O sea, cuando lo voy a repetir.
Exactamente, report es
O
como
yo
cuando lo voy
escuché que
a...
alguien le dijo a alguien.
Exacto, cuando voy a
Pero si, por
reportar.
ejemplo, yo vi algo, ya sí estoy hablando de pasado. Ya
Ah,
sí
sí,
puedo hablar en
exacto.
pasado.
Sí, sí, sí. Ahí ya sería I saw that,
Ujú.
y ya, ¿ready? Aunque bueno, igual también si estás reportando algo que viste, podría funcionar como report speech. Ahora que lo dices, podría funcionar como report speech, ¿no?
Por
Porque
ejemplo, como in the news.
yes, maybe for example, ¿no? So, I saw that, no sé, let's say that Nacional won 3-0. Ya, bueno, no, pero en ese caso sería pasado y pasado. No, creo que funciona igual. Right, yes, sí.
Okay.
Ah, funciona igual, right? Bueno, so, estos cambios sí van a afectar siempre, pues, ya sea report speech o no, siempre que estoy hablando de un momento que no es el presente. Entonces, por ejemplo, cuando digo en una historia, voy a contar la historia y quiero decir now, o sea, en ese momento, específicamente en ese momento, puedo usar estos adverbios. Then, No digo in this moment, sino in that moment. No es in this day, sino in that day. Ready? Entonces, vamos a usar los demostrativos lejanos. That and those, no this, right? Today, no, porque no es hoy, es ese día, that day. Tonight, no, porque no es esta noche, es that night, right? And then, so on, we're going to be changing a lot of different others. Yesterday is going to be the previous day or the day before, right? Last week, the week before. A month ago, the previous month, or the month before, tomorrow it would be the following, next also the following day, the day after, yes, or the next day, it could be also, right? The same with the other different measures of time. Next week, or the following week, or the week after, so on, so on, right? And with prepositions of place also. If the person says here, in the original, in the report, it's going to be there, ¿no? Porque no es el mismo que el que estoy diciendo. If I say, for example, yesterday I told you like, okay, we have to, no sé, we have to expand the vocabulary. Today you can tell me, teacher, you told me yesterday that we had to expand the vocabulary. Bueno, then, on, in that moment, right? Because if I say now, in the original sentence, in the report, I can change, right? So those adverbs can change. It's not going to affect the sentence a lot, but it can change minimal details of the sentence. Ready? Okay, Andre?
Okay, teacher.
Good. So, my dear, so well, this is like a detail of the unit because actually it's not very connected to the rest of the topics, but it was necessary to be seen, to be studied. So, bueno, for the moment, that's it. I think that today we finished a little bit early. It was super easy. And I don't know if you have questions or anything, or everything is clear.
Teacher, everything is clear.
Everything is clear. Bueno, my dear Andre. So, my dear, have a wonderful night. Sleep tight. See you the next week in the class number 4, which
Teacher,
I think,
one,
yes.
in the platform there are video lessons,
Mhm.
but I think that mm, the video lesson are not working.
Why not? What's happening?
I don't know. Sale como un mensaje. mm, El código de inserción para este video no es válido.
André, ¿me puedes hacer un favor? ¿Me puedes enviar un pantallazo de ese mensaje a WhatsApp para reportarlo?
Yes, teacher.
¿Te aparecen todos los videos? ¿En todos los videos de intermedios?
Pues yo solo tengo activos los de la semana 1 y 2.
O sea, ahí para adelante no han
No,
subido nada?
mm, no, sí están. Lo que pasa es que yo no he avanzado porque todavía me falta de la semana 2 el checkpoint y unas lecciones, entonces no he avanzado a la semana 3.
Pero igual tú puedes entrar sin, digamos, sin haber llegado hasta ahí, creo. Creo que esos no tienen.
No, todavía no, aparece como si no se activara hasta que yo no haga lo anterior.
Vale,
Pero
listo.
el video les de la semana 1 y de la semana 2 no, los dos me aparecen lo mismo.
Ok, listo, André. Y de los niveles anteriores te parecía normal, los video bytes.
Sí, pues no todos tenían video lesson, pero sí los que tenían sí aparecían normal.
Bueno, listo, André. Sí, por favor, envíame el pantallazo de WhatsApp para reportárselo a la coordinadora y que ya revise cómo lo están subiendo, ¿vale?
Okay, teacher.
Listo, my
Thank you
dear.
very much.
No, thanks to you for the information. See you next week. Okay, next week I think it's going to be on Wednesday. But I would like to ask you if you prefer at 7 p.m. or at 9 p.m. No, at 9, no, at 7 p.m. or at 8 p.m. What do you prefer?
Teacher for me is equal.
It's the same.
Sí, it's the same.
Okay, very good. So well, I'm going to check what time can I do it, and I will let you know. Probably it's going to be at 8 because it gives me more time to yours. But if it's okay for you, we can do it at 8 p.m. Okay?
Yes, teacher. No
Bueno, my
problem.
dear. So see you next Wednesday. Okay?
Teacher, good night.
Good night, my dear. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.